"Leave the table, old man," my son said. Not quietly, not even with the decency to pull me aside. Right there at Christmas dinner, in front of his wife, his kids, my daughter, and her husband. I set down my fork, stood up, took the house keys from my pocket and set them on the table next to the turkey I'd spent 6 hours preparing. Then I walked out of the house I'd paid for, the house where my grandchildren lived, the house my son thought was his. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. My name is Arthur. I'm 72 years old. I worked 46 years at the electrical plant before my knees finally gave out. Paid into that pension every month since I was 23. My wife, Eleanor, died 4 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. 6 weeks from diagnosis to funeral. She never got to retire, never got to see the trips we'd planned. My son Michael is 48, works in IT, makes decent money. Not great, but decent. His wife Tanya doesn't work, hasn't since their first kid was born 11 years ago. They have 3 children. Emma's 11, Sophie's 9, Jacob's 6. Christmas dinner, 2023. I'd driven over that morning with the groceries. 22-pound turkey. Fresh. Not frozen. The good one from the butcher that cost $87. Bought all the fixings. Stuffing, cranberries. 3 kinds of potatoes because Sophie only eats mashed, Emma only eats roasted, and Jacob won't touch either unless they're cut into shapes. Spent $432 at the grocery store. Got to the house at 8 in the morning. Let myself in with my key. The house was quiet. Michael and Tanya's bedroom door was closed. Kids still asleep. I started cooking. Eleanor used to handle Christmas dinner. She'd start planning in October. Had her mother's recipes in a binder, pages stained and worn from decades of use. After she died, Michael said the kids needed Christmas to feel normal. Asked if I'd cook. That was 4 years ago. Been doing it every year since. Turkey in the oven by 9. Stuffing prepped. Potatoes peeled. I made Eleanor's green bean casserole. The one with the crispy onions on top that she'd make in the blue dish her sister gave us as a wedding present. That dish was still in my cabinet at home, but I'd brought it over because it mattered. Details mattered to Eleanor. Michael came downstairs around 10:30, poured himself coffee, didn't say good morning, didn't thank me for coming over early, just checked his phone and went back upstairs. Tanya came down at 11, looked at the kitchen. "Oh, you're already cooking." Not thank you, not how can I help, just observation, statement of fact. Then she left to take a shower. The kids came down around noon. Emma hugged me. Sophie showed me a drawing she'd made. Jacob asked if I'd brought presents. I had. 3 wrapped boxes in my car. $67 each because Tanya had sent me specific links to what they wanted. No surprises allowed. They might return them if I picked wrong. My daughter Rachel arrived at 2 with her husband Tom. They'd driven 3 hours, brought wine and a pie. Rachel hugged me in the kitchen. "Smells amazing, Dad, just like Mom used to make." Her eyes were wet. She still teared up when we talked about Eleanor. "Your mom did it better," I said. That was true. Eleanor had a way of making everything feel effortless. I was just following her notes, trying to recreate something that was gone. Dinner was ready at 4. I called everyone to the table, the one in the dining room, the oak table Eleanor and I had bought 34 years ago when Michael was 14, and we'd finally saved enough to buy real furniture. Heavy, solid, seated, ate comfortably. We sat down, Michael at the head of the table. That bothered me, but I didn't say anything. It was his house now, his table. Legally. I'd signed it over 2 years ago. Everyone served themselves. Turkey, stuffing, potatoes. The good rolls from the bakery that cost $9 for a dozen. I'd buttered them and warmed them in the oven. Rachel raised her glass. To Dad, for keeping Mom's traditions alive. Tom nodded. Seriously, Arthur, this is incredible. Thank you. I smiled. Your mother would have... Can we not do this every year? Michael set down his fork. Loud. The noise cut through the conversation. Everyone stopped talking. I looked at him. Do what? The whole Mom would have thing. It's been 4 years, Dad. We get it. She's gone. Can we just have one meal without you making it depressing? The table went silent. Sophie's fork scraped her plate. Emma stared at her lap. I was just saying... Yeah. You're always just saying. Just mentioning Mom. Just reminding us that she did it better. Just making sure we all know you're the grieving widow who's sacrificing so much to be here. Tanya touched his arm. Not to stop him, just resting her hand there, present, supporting. Rachel's face flushed. Michael, that's completely... Stay out of it, Rachel. You show up once a year and play perfect daughter. Dad's here every month asking for something. My hands were steady. That surprised me. Asking for what? Access to the house, to the kids. You just walk in whenever you want like you still own the place. I have a key. That's the problem. Michael leaned back in his chair, casual, like we were discussing the weather. You need to stop treating this place like it's yours. It makes Tanya uncomfortable. The kids ask why Grandpa's here more than their friends' grandparents. I set down my fork. Carefully. The table Eleanor and I had picked out together. The china she'd inherited from her mother. The centerpiece Rachel had made in high school that we'd kept every year because Eleanor loved it. This is the house I bought in 1983, I said. My voice came out level, calm. Mortgage paid off in 2011. I signed it over to you in January 2022 so you could afford to keep it when the property taxes went up. That was after I'd already given you $63,000 to bail out your failed IT consulting business in 2015. Yeah, and we've thanked you. Michael's jaw was tight. But that doesn't mean you get to just walk in whenever. I come when you ask me to. I came today because you wanted Christmas dinner. I came last month to fix the furnace when it broke. I came in October to watch the kids when you and Tanya went to her sister's wedding in Florida. We didn't ask you to come at 8 in the morning and take over the kitchen. Dinner doesn't cook itself, Michael. Turkey takes 6 hours. Tanya spoke for the first time. Her voice was soft, reasonable. Arthur, we appreciate everything you do. But Michael's right. You still act like this is your house, like you're in charge. It puts pressure on the kids. They feel like they have to perform for you. Perform. Like loving their grandfather was a theater production. Rachel slammed her hand on the table. The wine glasses shook. Are you kidding me right now? Dad spent all day cooking this meal. He bought all this food. He's here because you... Rachel, stop! Michael's voice went hard. "This is between me and Dad. You don't live here. You don't see how often he just shows up, how he criticizes the way we do things, how he makes comments about Mom to the kids and gets them all upset. I never—" "You told Emma last month that her grandmother would be disappointed she quit piano." I had said that. Emma had taken lessons for 3 years. Eleanor had paid for the first year before she got sick. Emma had natural talent. Quit because she wanted to do soccer instead, and Tanya said they couldn't afford both. "Eleanor wanted her to play," I said. That was true. Eleanor had talked about it in the hospital, hoped Emma would keep going. "See?" Michael gestured at me like I'd proven his point. "You can't help yourself. Everything is about what Mom wanted, what Mom would think, what Mom would do. Newsflash, Dad. Mom's dead. This isn't her house anymore. It's ours. And if you can't respect that, maybe you shouldn't come over." The kids were crying now. Sophie had tears running down her face. Jacob was staring at his plate. Emma had gotten up and left the table. I heard her bedroom door slam upstairs. "Michael," Tom's voice was quiet, steady. "This is out of line." "This is my house," Michael said. "My family, my table. And I'm tired of my father acting like we owe him something because he helped us out years ago." I stood up. My chair scraped the floor. The sound was loud in the silence. "Leave the table, old man," Michael said. "If you can't have dinner without making it about you and your dead wife, then leave." I reached into my pocket, took out my key ring. There were 3 keys on it: front door, back door. Side entrance I'd installed myself when Michael's family moved in because Tanya wanted direct access to the garage. I pulled them off the ring, set them on the table next to the blue casserole dish, next to the turkey I'd paid for, the rolls I'd buttered, the wine Rachel had brought. No one spoke. I walked to the front door, got my coat from the closet, the same closet where Eleanor used to hang her red winter coat, the one I donated to Goodwill 2 years ago because seeing it every day was killing me. "Dad, wait." Rachel was behind me. She'd followed me to the door. "Stay for dinner," I said. "The food's good. Your mother's recipes. I'm coming with you." "No, stay. It's Christmas. You drove 3 hours. Eat. I'm fine." I wasn't fine. I walked to my car. It was snowing. Light. The good kind of snow that looks pretty on Christmas. My car was cold. I sat in the driver's seat and waited for it to warm up. Through the front window I could see the dining room. Michael had sat back down. Tanya was serving the kids. Rachel was still standing in the hallway. Tom was looking at his plate. Normal, like I'd never been there. I drove home. 23 minutes. My house was dark, empty. I'd left at 7:30 that morning, been gone 9 hours. The thermostat was set to 65 to save money. The house was cold. I didn't turn on the lights, just sat at my kitchen table. The small one. Seats 2. I'd bought it after Eleanor died because the old table was too big, too many empty chairs. My phone buzzed around 6. Rachel. "Dad, are you okay? Please call me." I didn't call. Another text at 7. "I'm so sorry. Michael was completely out of line. Tom and I left. Please answer." I set the phone down. The house was quiet. Christmas music played from somewhere outside. Someone's celebration bleeding through the walls. I'd given Michael that house, not sold it, given it. The property was worth $397,000 when I signed it over. The deed transfer papers were in my filing cabinet. January 14th, 2022. Michael hadn't paid $1. I'd covered the transfer taxes, $1,985. Before that, I'd given him $63,000 in 2015 to bail out his failed IT consulting business. He'd quit his stable job to be his own boss, rented office space, hired 2 employees, lost money for 14 months straight, came to me desperate, said he'd lose everything. I'd taken it out of my retirement savings, the account Eleanor and I had been building since 1985. Gave it to him so he could pay off his business debts and go back to corporate work before bankruptcy. Eleanor had worried about it, not whether we should help. She never questioned that, but whether we could afford it. We'd planned to retire at 65, travel, see the national parks, maybe rent a place in Arizona for the winters. We'll rebuild it, I'd told her. We've got time. We didn't have time. She got diagnosed at 63, dead at 63, never retired, never traveled, never saw Arizona. The business bailout was just the start. I'd paid for the furnace replacement in 2015, $8,200. The roof repair in 2018, $14,000. The kitchen renovation in 2020 that Tanya wanted, $26,000. I'd paid for half of it. Michael covered the rest with a home equity loan. Then the property taxes jumped in 2021. The county reassessed. Taxes went from $4,000 a year to $7,800. Michael couldn't afford it. Called me in a panic. Said they'd have to sell. I signed over the house. Transferred the deed to his name. That made it a gift, which meant no capital gains issues. Let him take the homestead exemption. Reduced his taxes to $5,200. Saved him $2,600 a year. "You can stay here as long as you want, Dad," Michael had said. "This is your house, too. Always will be." That was January 2022, less than 2 years ago. I opened my laptop, checked my bank records. I'd been tracking expenses since Eleanor died. Habit from 46 years of budgeting. Christmas 2022, $387. Groceries, gifts. Christmas 2023, $432. Groceries, gifts. Thanksgiving 2023, $284. Thanksgiving 2022, $312. Easter 2023, $156. Easter 2022, $143. I scrolled back further. Monthly transfers. Recurring payments I'd set up and never canceled. Jacob's Preschool, $340 a month for 8 months in 2021. I'd covered it when Michael's company did layoffs and he was unemployed for 6 months. $2,720 total. Emma's braces, $4,200. Paid in full in 2022 because the orthodontist offered a discount for upfront payment. Sophie's surgery, $3,800. Tonsils. Insurance covered most of it. I covered the deductible and copays in 2023. Car repairs, $1,650 in 2022 when Tanya's transmission died. Utility bills, 4 months in 2021 when Michael wasn't working, $1,470 total. I kept scrolling. The numbers blurred together. Christmas gifts, birthday money, emergency loans that never got paid back, the fence repair, the water heater, the tree removal after the storm. I opened my spreadsheet, the one I'd been keeping since 2008. added it up. Business bailout, 2015, $63,000. House transfer, 2022, $397,000. Property value. Furnace, 2015, $8,200. Roof, 2018, $14,000. Kitchen, 2020, $26,000. Braces, 2022, $4,200. Medical, 2023, $3,800. Preschool, 2021, $2,720. Car, 2022, $1,650. 4 months utilities, 2021, $1,470. Holidays, gifts, groceries, 5 years, $8,400. Emergency loans, $6,200. Tree removal, $2,800. Water heater, $1,900. Fence, $3,400. Total, $544,740. Over $500,000 in 15 years. That didn't count the weekly groceries I'd bring over, didn't count the babysitting, didn't count the time. Eleanor's life insurance had been $140,000. I'd put most of it in savings, touched it only for the house transfer and Emma's braces. The rest I'd been living on, supplementing my pension, the pension that was supposed to fund both of us, the retirement we never got to have. My phone rang. Rachel. I answered this time. Dad, are you home? Yes. Tom and I are coming over. It's late. You have a long drive. We're coming over. They arrived at 8:30. Rachel hugged me at the door. She was crying. Tom looked angry. Quiet angry. The kind that's worse than yelling. What Michael did was unforgivable, Rachel said. We were sitting in my living room, the small one. I'd sold most of the furniture after Eleanor died. Too many memories. Too much empty space. He was upset, I said. He was cruel. Rachel's voice cracked. You spent all day cooking. You bought everything. You've given him everything, and he talked to you like... She couldn't finish. Tom leaned forward. Have you eaten today? I hadn't. Left before breakfast. Been cooking all day. Left before dinner. I'll make something. Tom went to the kitchen. Rachel sat next to me. I want you to know that what he said isn't true. You don't make things about Mom in a bad way. You honor her. You keep her memory alive for the kids. That's not depressing. That's love. I nodded, couldn't speak. And you don't just show up at their house. They call you constantly. When they need something fixed. When they need money. When they need free babysitting. You drop everything for them. That was true. Michael had called me 47 times in 2023. I'd counted once without meaning to, noticed the pattern, looked back at my call log. 47 calls. 6 of them were just to talk. The rest were requests. Can you watch the kids Friday? The furnace is making a noise. Tanya's car won't start. Can you pick up Sophie from school? We both have meetings. Tom came back with scrambled eggs and toast. Simple. Good. I ate because they were watching me. What are you going to do? Rachel asked. About what? About Michael. About the house. About everything. I set down my fork. I gave him that house. It's his. Legally. Completely. I can't take it back. Maybe not legally. But he owes you. He owes you an apology at minimum. He owes you respect. Respect. I'd taught Michael that word, made him apologize when he was rude as a kid, taught him to say please and thank you, to acknowledge when someone helped him. Eleanor and I had raised him to be better than what I'd seen at that table. "I'm going to bed," I said. "You two should get a hotel. It's too late to drive." "We'll stay here," Rachel said. "Guest room okay?" I nodded. The guest room still had Eleanor's decorations, her quilts, her books on the nightstand. I hadn't changed anything in there. Couldn't. I went to my room, lay down in the dark. The bed was too big. Still, after 4 years, I still reached for Eleanor sometimes in the night, found empty space, cold sheets. My phone buzzed. Michael, text message. "Dad, you embarrassed me tonight, in front of my kids. You can't just walk out of Christmas dinner because you got your feelings hurt. Tanya's upset. The kids are confused. You need to apologize." I stared at the message, read it 3 times. Tried to find the part where he acknowledged what he'd said. Tried to find remorse, regret, recognition. Nothing. Just blame. Just demand. Just expectation that I would fold. Apologize. Come back. Keep giving. I turned off my phone. Sleep didn't come. I lay there counting the things I'd given, the hours, the money, the pieces of myself and Eleanor that I'd carved off and handed over, because that's what parents do. You give. You sacrifice. You show up even when it costs you. But somewhere in the 15 years since Michael bought that house, the giving had turned into owing. My help had become obligation, expected, resented if it came with any reminder that I'd actually helped. Morning came. December 26th. Rachel and Tom were in the kitchen. Coffee was brewing. Tom had found eggs and was making breakfast again. "Sleep okay?" Rachel asked. She knew I hadn't. "Fine." My phone was still off. I turned it on. 17 messages. 12 from Michael, 3 from Tanya, 2 from Rachel before she'd come over. Michael's messages started angry, got angrier, ended with, "If you don't respond by noon, I'm calling for a welfare check. Clearly you're not stable." Tanya's messages were different, softer, manipulative in a quieter way. "Arthur, Michael didn't mean what he said. He's under a lot of stress at work. The kids miss you. Can we talk? Then, please respond. We're worried about you." Then, "The kids keep asking why Grandpa left. This is really hurting them." The kids, always the kids, the leverage that never failed. I set down the phone. "What do they say?" Rachel was watching me. "That I need to apologize, that I'm hurting the kids, that Michael was just stressed." Tom made a sound, disgust. Of course he was. Rachel took my phone, read the messages. Her face went red. "He's threatening a welfare check? Because you're not stable? You're the most stable person I know. You've held it together through losing Mom, through everything. And he's going to suggest—" She couldn't finish. I took the phone back, started typing. "Michael, I will not apologize for leaving dinner after you told me to leave. I will not apologize for giving you a house or money or help over the past 15 years. I will not be available for babysitting, repairs, or financial assistance going forward. If you need to contact me, you may call. Once a week at most. I will not be coming to the house. You made it clear it's not mine. You're right. It's not. Merry Christmas. I read it twice. Sent it. Rachel looked over my shoulder. Dad? Yes. The response came in 43 seconds. You're having a breakdown. I'm calling Rachel. You need help. I almost laughed. Would have if it wasn't so perfectly predictable. Push back once in 72 years and suddenly I'm incompetent, unstable, need intervention. Rachel's phone rang. She looked at the screen. It's Michael, she answered on speaker. Rachel, Dad's losing it. Did you see his message? He's having some kind of episode. We need to get him evaluated. I'm sitting right here with him, Michael. He's fine. More than fine. He's finally setting boundaries that he should have set years ago. Boundaries. He's cutting off his grandkids because I hurt his feelings. That's not healthy. You told him to leave Christmas dinner. In front of everyone. After he cooked all day. After he bought all the food. After he's given you over $500,000 in 15 years. And you want him to apologize? Silence. Long silence. What are you talking about? $500,000? The house alone was almost $400,000. The business bailout was $63,000. Then the furnace, the roof, the kitchen, those were gifts. He offered. We didn't ask for. You called him 47 times this year, Michael. I counted. How many of those calls were just to talk? How many were asking for something? More silence. He's our father. He's supposed to help. Rachel's voice went cold. And you're his son. You're supposed to show respect, gratitude, basic human decency. Yesterday you showed him contempt. You humiliated him, and now you're trying to gaslight him into thinking he's the problem. I'm hanging up. Good. Don't call back unless you're ready to apologize. To him, not to me. She ended the call. Sat down. Her hands were shaking. Tom put his hand on her shoulder. Proud of you. I should have said that years ago, she said. I've watched him treat Dad like an ATM, like a convenience. I said nothing because I didn't want family drama. I'm done. We finished breakfast in silence. Tom and Rachel left around 10. Made me promise to call if I needed anything. Left a bag of groceries they'd bought that morning. Hugged me at the door. Mom would be proud of you, Rachel whispered. Standing up for yourself. She'd want that. I wasn't sure. Eleanor had been a peacemaker. Hated conflict. Would probably have told me to smooth it over. Apologize. Keep the peace. But Eleanor also had boundaries. Quiet ones. She'd withdrawn from people who took advantage. Stopped giving to those who never gave back. She'd done it without drama, without announcements. Just quietly closed doors that needed closing. Maybe she would be proud. Maybe. The house was quiet again. I sat in my living room, same chair I'd sat in for 30 years. Eleanor's chair was gone. I'd donated it. Couldn't look at it empty. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Mr. Patterson, this is Adult Protective Services. We received a call from your son expressing concerns about your welfare. I'd like to schedule a home visit to... When did he call? This morning, around 9:45. 20 minutes after I'd sent my message. He'd called APS, reported his own father as incompetent, as a danger to himself. as needing intervention. "My son is upset that I set a boundary," I said. My voice was steady, calm. "I'm 72 years old. I'm a retired electrical engineer. I own my home. I manage my finances. I have no health issues beyond arthritis in my knees. I do not need protective services. Sir, I understand this may feel intrusive, but when we receive a report, we're required to—" "Then come, visit. You'll see I'm fine. When's convenient? Would tomorrow at 10 work?" "Yes. I'll have coffee ready." She came the next day. Her name was Linda, mid-50s, professional, kind eyes. She walked through my house, asked questions, looked at my medication cabinet, blood pressure pills, arthritis medication, checked my refrigerator, well stocked, organized, asked about my daily routine. I wake at 6, make breakfast, read the paper, do crosswords. I volunteer at the library on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I have lunch with friends on Wednesdays. I manage my own finances, cook my own meals, drive my own car. Do you have family support? My daughter Rachel lives 3 hours away. We talk twice a week. She visits monthly. My son Michael lives 20 minutes away. We're currently not in contact. Can you tell me about the conflict with your son? I told her. Factual, no emotion. What happened at Christmas dinner? The messages, the welfare check threat, the APS call. She took notes. Mr. Patterson, I'm going to close this case. You're clearly competent and caring for yourself well. However, I want you to know that using APS as a weapon in family disputes is, unfortunately, common. If your son continues to make reports, we'll document the pattern. It can work against him if there are future custody or legal issues. Thank you. She stood, hesitated. For what it's worth, I'm sorry you're dealing with this. Family estrangement is painful, especially when you've been the primary support system. After she left, I called my lawyer, Harold, same age as me. We'd served together in Vietnam, stayed friends for 50 years. Arthur, how was Christmas? Complicated. I need to update my will. We met that afternoon. I brought my financial records, showed him the spreadsheet, the transfer documents, the history of gifts and loans. Harold read through everything, looked up. Your will currently splits everything 50-50 between Michael and Rachel? Yes. Want to change that? I want Michael removed entirely. Everything goes to Rachel. The house, the savings, the life insurance policy, the pension survivor benefits if I remarry, which I won't. Everything. Harold nodded. Didn't try to talk me out of it. I'll draft it today. You can sign tomorrow. I'll need 2 witnesses. I'll bring them. I called my neighbor Barbara. She was 74, widowed. We had coffee sometimes, shared the newspaper, complained about property taxes. She'd brought me casseroles after Eleanor died, 37 of them. I'd counted, kept track so I could return the dishes. Barbara, I need a favor. I'm updating my will. Need a witness. Would you and maybe one other person be willing to come with me tomorrow? Of course. I'll bring Janet. You remember Janet? From the garden club. The next day, I signed the new will. Barbara and Janet witnessed. Harold notarized, made copies, gave me the original in a sealed envelope. Keep this somewhere safe, he said. Tell Rachel where it is. I called Rachel that night. I updated my will. Everything goes to you. The original is in my safe. Combination is Mom's birthday. She was quiet. Dad, Are you sure? Maybe after some time, I'm sure. Michael made his choice. I'm making mine. Okay. Her voice was thick. Okay. New Year's came. No call from Michael. No text. No acknowledgement. I spent New Year's Eve alone. Watched the ball drop on TV. Thought about Eleanor. How we used to stay up together. How she'd make fancy appetizers, and we'd pretend we were at a party instead of just two old people in a living room. January brought cold. Real cold. Single digits. The kind that made my knees ache. Made me feel every one of my 72 years. My phone rang on January 15th. Michael. First contact since December 26th. I answered. Dad, the furnace is out again. It's 12 degrees. The kids are freezing. Can you come look at it? No greeting, no apology. No acknowledgement of the 3 weeks of silence. Just expectation that I'd drop everything. Come running, fix it. Call a repairman, I said. It'll cost $300 for an emergency visit. You can fix it for free. You've done it before. I'm not available. Dad, the kids are cold. Emma's getting sick. You're seriously going to let your grandchildren freeze because you're in a mood? A mood. 3 weeks of silence. An APS call. Christmas dinner humiliation. Reduced to a mood. Call a repairman, Michael, or use the $340,000 equity in your house to pay for it. What's that supposed to mean? It means I gave you a house. Sell it. Downsize. Use the money to maintain it. That's what adults do. You gave me that house so we could raise our kids in a good neighborhood, so they'd have stability. Now you're saying we should sell it? I'm saying it's yours. Your house, your furnace, your problem. This is insane. You're punishing children because I said something you didn't like. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm letting you handle your own responsibilities, something I should have done years ago. They're going to remember this, that their grandfather let them freeze because his ego got bruised. Call a repairman, Michael. I hung up. My hands were shaking, not from cold, from rage, from the audacity of it. 3 weeks of silence, then a call demanding free labor, demanding I drop everything, demanding I pretend Christmas never happened, and the threat, the guilt, the kids will remember. Like I'd forgotten, like I didn't lie awake at night thinking about Emma, Sophie, Jacob, missing them, wondering if they missed me. But I also remembered Jacob at the Christmas table, silent, staring at his plate while his father humiliated me, learning that this was acceptable, that adults could treat each other with contempt, that grandparents were utilities to be used and discarded. What lesson was I teaching by coming back? By accepting cruelty in exchange for access to my grandchildren? What was I showing them about self-respect? About boundaries? About what love actually means? Barbara knocked on my door that evening. She'd brought soup, homemade, still warm. Saw your light on late last night, she said. Not prying, just observant. Thought you might want some company. We ate soup in my kitchen. She didn't ask questions, just sat, present, the way Eleanor used to be. Comfortable silence, no demands. My son asked me to come fix his furnace today, I said finally. First time he's called since Christmas. Barbara nodded. Did you go? No. Good. He said the kids will remember I let them freeze. The kids will remember what you teach them by how you let yourself be treated. She set down her spoon. My daughter used to call me for money every month, some emergency, some crisis. I gave it for years, took it out of my retirement savings. One day I said no. She didn't speak to me for 18 months. What happened? She got a better job, started managing her money, called me 2 years later and apologized, said she'd been treating me like a bank instead of a mother. We're good now, close. But it took me saying no for her to see what she'd been doing. Michael called APS on me. Barbara's face hardened. He what? I told her. The welfare check, the home visit, the attempt to have me declared incompetent. That boy needs more than a boundary, she said. He needs a wake-up call. February came. Valentine's Day, Eleanor's favorite holiday. She'd loved the tackiness of it, the cheap cards, the conversation hearts, the excuse to eat chocolate without guilt. I drove to her grave. First time since Christmas. The ground was frozen. Snow covered the headstone. I brushed it off. Eleanor Patterson, beloved wife, mother, grandmother, 1960-2019. I'd picked the words, agonized over them. Nothing seemed big enough to capture 53 years of marriage, enough to summarize her. I gave Michael the house, I said out loud. Alone in the cemetery, talking to stone. I gave him everything, and he told me to leave the table. Called me old man. You would have been devastated. The wind picked up, cold, bitter. I pulled my coat tighter. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Cutting him off. You always said family was everything. But you also said respect matters. That love without respect isn't love. It's convenience. No answer. Just wind. Just cold. Just the reality that Eleanor was gone and I was making these decisions alone. The way I'd been making every decision for 4 years. Without her counsel. Without her wisdom. Without her gentle way of seeing everyone's side. My phone buzzed. Rachel. Dad, Michael called me. He's furious. Says you hung up on him when he asked for help with the furnace. He called because he wanted free labor, not to apologize, not to reconcile. I know. I told him that. He didn't like it. Said I'm choosing sides. You don't have to choose. I already did. I'm choosing you, the parent who actually showed up, who cooked Christmas dinner, who gave everything and got contempt in return. We talked for an hour. She told me about her job, her husband, her life. Not once did she ask for anything. Not once did the conversation turn into a transaction. We just talked, the way parents and adult children should. After we hung up, I realized I couldn't remember the last time Michael and I had done that. Just talked. No agenda, no request, no crisis to solve. Maybe never. March brought my birthday. 73. Rachel sent a card. Called me. We talked for 2 hours. She was planning to visit in April. Michael sent nothing. No call, no text, no acknowledgement. On March 23rd, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Thought it might be APS again. Another false report. Mr. Patterson? This is Westfield Elementary. I'm calling about your granddaughter, Emma. She listed you as an emergency contact. Her father isn't answering his phone and we need someone to pick her up. She's sick. My heart stopped. Is she okay? She's running a fever, 101.3. Stomach ache. We need her picked up within the hour per school policy. I looked at the clock. 2:15. Michael should be at work. Tanya should be home. Why weren't they answering? I'll be there in 20 minutes. I drove to the school, signed Emma out. She looked pale, small. She was 11, but seemed younger. Fragile. Grandpa? She looked surprised, confused. You came? Of course I came. The school called. She was quiet in the car, held her stomach. I drove to Michael's house, parked in the driveway. The house I'd paid for. The house I'd been told I wasn't welcome in. I rang the doorbell, waited. No answer. Rang again. Nothing. I tried the doorknob. Locked. Of course. Is your mom home? I asked Emma. She was. She was taking a nap. She gets migraines. A nap. Tanya was inside napping while the school couldn't reach anyone, while Emma sat sick in the nurse's office. I called Michael, straight to voicemail, called Tanya. No answer. We're going to my house, I told Emma. She nodded. Didn't argue. Too sick to care. At my house I made her soup, ginger ale, set her up on the couch with blankets, took her temperature. 101.7. High, but not emergency level. I called Michael again, left a message. I picked up Emma from school. She's sick. She's at my house. Call me. No response. I called Tanya, left the same message. No response. Emma fell asleep on the couch. I sat in Eleanor's old chair, the one I'd kept in the guest room, moved it to the living room so I could watch Emma, make sure she was okay. At 5:30, my doorbell rang. Michael. He looked angry, not worried, not grateful, angry. I opened the door, didn't invite him in. Where's Emma? Asleep on the couch. She has a fever. You had no right to take her without calling me first. The school called me. You didn't answer. Neither did Tanya. Tanya had a migraine. My phone died. You should have kept trying. Your daughter was sick. At school. Waiting to be picked up. I picked her up. You're welcome. Michael's jaw clenched. This doesn't change anything. You don't get to use my kids as leverage to force your way back into our lives. Leverage. I stared at him. My son. The boy I'd raised. The man I'd helped at every turn. Standing on my porch accusing me of using his sick child as manipulation. Get out, I said. My voice was quiet, cold. I'm taking Emma. She's asleep. She has a fever. You can wait. This is kidnapping. You can't just... I picked up my granddaughter from school at the school's request. I called you multiple times. I brought her to my home where she's safe and cared for. If you want to call the police and explain why you and your wife were unreachable while your sick child sat at school, go ahead. Michael stepped back. For the first time, he looked uncertain. I'll wait in the car. You'll wait in the living room where you can see your daughter. He came inside, sat in the chair farthest from me. Emma slept. The TV played quietly. Some cooking show Eleanor used to watch. I'd kept it on out of habit. 20 minutes later, Emma woke up, saw her father. Dad? Hey, baby. Feeling better? She shook her head. My stomach hurts. Let's go home. Mom's feeling better. She'll take care of you. Emma looked at me. Thank you, Grandpa. I smiled. Any time, sweetheart. Michael carried her to the car. Didn't say thank you. Didn't acknowledge what I'd done. Just left. I stood in the doorway. Watched them drive away. Back to the house I'd given them. The house I wasn't welcome in. The house where Michael's wife napped through emergencies and his phone conveniently died when his children needed him. I closed the door, sat down, felt every one of my 73 years. My phone buzzed. Rachel. Did Michael really accuse you of kidnapping Emma? How did you? Tanya posted on Facebook, said you overstepped by picking Emma up without permission, that you're using the kids to manipulate them into reconciling. She has about 50 comments agreeing with her. Facebook. Public warfare, the same tactic Michael had used with APS. Paint me as unstable, unreasonable, wrong, get public opinion on their side. I have the voicemail from the school, I said. Time stamped. Asking me to pick her up. I have my call log showing I tried to reach both of them. I documented everything. Good. Keep documenting. Michael's building a case to cut you off entirely, to justify it. Make himself look like the reasonable one protecting his family from a crazy old man. She was right. I could see it. The pattern. The APS call. The public posts. The accusations. He was creating a narrative. One where I was the villain. Where cutting me off was necessary. Justified. Even heroic. And his kids would believe it. Emma, Sophie, Jacob would grow up hearing their father's version. How Grandpa Arthur went crazy after Grandma died. How he became difficult, demanding. How he had to be cut off for everyone's safety. The truth wouldn't matter. The $500,000 wouldn't matter. The Christmas dinners wouldn't matter. Only the story Michael told. I opened my laptop. Started a document. Timeline. Every significant event, every gift, every loan, every time I'd helped, every time they'd called, every conversation. December 25th, 2023. Christmas dinner. Michael told me to leave the table, old man. I left. Gave back house keys. December 26, 2023. Michael texted, demanding apology. Called APS when I set boundaries. January 15th, 2024. Michael called asking me to repair furnace. No apology, no acknowledgement, just demand for free labor. March 23rd, 2024. Westfield Elementary called, Emma sick. Michael and Tanya unreachable. I picked up Emma. Michael accused me of kidnapping. I documented it all. Saved it, backed it up, sent copies to Harold. If Michael tries anything legal, Harold said, we have evidence. Clear evidence of you acting reasonably, him escalating, building a narrative. April came. Rachel visited, spent the weekend. We cooked Eleanor's recipes together, went through photo albums, cried, laughed, remembered. Do you miss them? Rachel asked. She meant Michael's kids, my grandchildren. Every day. Michael's kids? Yes. Do you regret setting boundaries? I thought about it, really thought. The pain of missing Emma, Sophie, Jacob, the weight of knowing they were 20 minutes away but might as well be across the country. No, I said finally. I regret that it was necessary. I don't regret doing it. Rachel hugged me. Mom would be proud. May brought warm weather. I started gardening again, Eleanor's hobby. I'd let it go after she died. Couldn't look at the empty flower beds without seeing her there, on her knees, hands in dirt, happy. Barbara helped me plant tomatoes, peppers, herbs. We worked in comfortable silence, two old people with bad knees and empty houses, finding companionship in shared work. "Heard from your son?" she asked. "No." "Good." On May 28th, my doorbell rang. Evening, almost 7. I wasn't expecting anyone. Michael stood on my porch, alone. He looked tired, older, worn. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside. He came in, looked around. The house he'd grown up in, smaller now, different furniture. Eleanor's things mostly gone. His childhood home transformed into an old man's refuge. We sat. He chose the couch. I took my chair. "Emma asks about you," he said. "Every week. Wants to know why you don't come over." I waited. "Sophie made you a birthday card in March. I didn't send it. I have it in the car." I said nothing. "Tanya said I should apologize, that I was wrong, that Christmas dinner was—" He trailed off. Couldn't find the words. "Cruel," I offered. "Humiliating. Contemptuous." He flinched. "Yeah, those." "Why did you do it?" He looked at his hands. "I don't know. I was angry. I'm always angry lately. Work is stressful. Money's tight. The house is expensive. The kids are expensive. Everything's expensive. And you were there, making everything look easy. Making Mom's recipes like it was nothing. Like you weren't struggling too. I've been struggling since your mother died. You never asked." "I know." His voice cracked. "I know, Dad. I've been a terrible son. I've been selfish. I've treated you like a resource instead of a person. Like a bank. Like free labor. Like someone who existed just to solve my problems." I waited. Let him sit with it. "When you gave me the house keys that night, when you walked out, I thought you were being dramatic, throwing a tantrum. I told Tanya you'd get over it. Call in a few days, apologize, come back. I didn't. No, you didn't. And then you stopped answering, stopped being available. And suddenly, everything was harder. The furnace broke and I had to pay $300. The car needed repairs and I had to figure it out myself. Emma got sick and I couldn't find someone to watch Sophie and Jacob while I picked her up from school. Everything you'd been doing quietly, constantly for years, it all became visible because it wasn't happening anymore. And I realized how much I'd taken you for granted, how much I'd expected without appreciating, how much I'd leaned on you without ever saying thank you." He pulled something from his pocket. A check. Set it on the coffee table. "This is for $20,000. It's not enough. Not even close. But it's what I have saved. I want to start paying you back. For everything." I looked at the check. Didn't touch it. "I went through my records," Michael continued. "All the times you helped, all the money you gave. It's more than $500,000, isn't it?" 544,740, I said. "Not counting weekly groceries, not counting time." He closed his eyes. "Jesus, Dad, I'm so sorry." "Are you sorry you did it? Or sorry I stopped?" "Both." He opened his eyes. They were wet. I'm sorry I treated you that way. I'm sorry I didn't see it. I'm sorry I said those things at Christmas. I'm sorry I called APS. I'm sorry I've been a terrible son since Mom died. Maybe before. I picked up the check, looked at it. $20,000. Significant money for Michael. Real sacrifice. I tore it up. Dad, I don't want your money, Michael. I never did. I wanted gratitude, respect, acknowledgement. I wanted to be treated like a father instead of an ATM. I know. You're right. I wanted you to notice that I was lonely, that I was grieving, that I was showing up for you constantly while you barely showed up for me. I know. I wanted you to see that I wasn't just an old man taking up space in your kitchen. I was your father who'd given everything to help you build your life. Michael was crying now. Actually crying. I see it now. I'm sorry it took this long. I'm sorry I had to lose you to understand what I had. You haven't lost me. I'm right here. But I did lose you for 5 months, and the kids lost you, and we all felt it. The space you left, the help that wasn't there, the presence that was gone. We felt all of it. I set down the torn check. The help I can start giving again. The money I might consider. But the presence? The relationship? That's going to take time to rebuild. Trust isn't given twice, Michael. It's earned once and rebuilt slowly. I understand. I need to know this isn't just about getting your handyman back, your babysitter, your bank. It's not. I swear it's not. I miss my dad. The kids miss their grandpa, not the guy who fixes things, the guy who tells them about Mom, who makes her recipes, who shows up because he wants to, not because we called with a crisis. I nodded slowly. Then we can start. Slowly, carefully, with boundaries. Whatever you need. I need a real apology to me and to your sister in person, not text. Okay. I need you to talk to Emma, Sophie, and Jacob. Tell them what you did was wrong, that I didn't abandon them, that you pushed me away. I will. I need you to manage your own house, your own repairs, your own emergencies. I'll help when I choose to, not because you demand it. Understood. And I need you to acknowledge that I'm an old man who won't be here forever. That if you want your kids to know their grandfather, you have a limited time to make that happen. And you can't waste it being resentful that I exist. His face crumpled. Dad, I don't want to waste any more time. We sat in silence. The clock ticked. Eleanor's clock. The one that had been on the wall for 30 years, watching us, bearing witness. You can come for dinner Sunday, I said. Bring everyone. I'll make pot roast, Mom's recipe. We'll be there. What can we bring? Just yourselves. On time. And gratitude. He nodded, stood, hesitated. Can I hug you? I stood. Let him hug me. He held on longer than I expected, shook slightly. I realized he was still crying. I love you, Dad. I'm sorry. I love you too, son. He left. I sat back down, looked at the torn check on the table. $20,000. He'd tried. That mattered. My phone rang. Rachel. Did Michael just leave your house? How did you? He called me. Asked if he could come over tomorrow. Said he owes me an apology, too. Said you're rebuilding things and he wants to make it right with me. He does owe you an apology. What happened, Dad? What changed? He ran out of people to blame. Had to look in the mirror. Rachel laughed. Are you really going to let him back in after everything? Slowly, with boundaries. If he maintains them. And if he doesn't? Then I have a will that already addresses that possibility. Sunday came. Michael arrived at 5. On time. Tanya, Emma, Sophie, Jacob. They stood on my porch holding flowers, store-bought, cheap, but present. Emma hugged me immediately. Grandpa, I missed you. Sophie showed me a drawing. I made this for you. It's you and Grandma. Jacob was shy, hung back, didn't remember me as well. 5 months is a long time when you're 6. We went inside. They looked around, same as Michael had, noticing the changes, the smallness, the quiet. It smells like Grandma's house, Emma said. I'm making her pot roast. I remember that. Sophie smiled. With the carrots and potatoes. We ate at my small table. Had to bring in extra chairs from the guest room. Crowded, tight, but together. Michael said grace. Thanked me specifically. For this food, for this house, for welcoming us back when we didn't deserve it. The kids looked confused. Tanya looked uncomfortable. But no one argued. We ate, talked. The kids told me about school, soccer, piano. Emma had started again. She asked me to come to her recital. I said yes. After dinner, Michael helped me clean up. The kids played in the living room. Tanya sat with them, looking at photo albums, Eleanor's life and pictures. This feels normal, Michael said, washing dishes, same as he'd done as a kid. Like before. Before your mother died? Yeah. Before everything got hard. Things are still hard, Michael. I'm still alone. You're still struggling with money. Life is still difficult. The difference is, we're facing it together instead of you resenting me for existing while you struggled. He nodded. Didn't argue. They left at 8. Emma hugged me, made me promise to come to her recital. Sophie gave me the drawing to keep. Jacob waved from the car. Michael shook my hand at the door. Same time next Sunday? Same time. After they left, I sat in my chair. The house was quiet again, but different, less empty, more peaceful. I looked at Sophie's drawing, me and Eleanor, standing together, holding hands. She'd drawn us young, the way we looked in the wedding photo on my mantel. Smiling, together, whole. On the back, she'd written, I miss Grandma. I don't want to miss you, too. I set the drawing on the refrigerator, next to Emma's recital invitation, next to Jacob's school photo that Rachel had sent me. My phone buzzed. Rachel. How was dinner? Good, really good. I'm proud of you, Dad, for standing your ground, for making him work for it. Your mother would have forgiven him faster. Maybe. But Mom also would have made sure he knew what he'd done wrong. You did what she would have wanted. You taught him accountability. After we hung up, I sat in the quiet, thought about Eleanor, about the life we'd built, the children we'd raised, the sacrifices we'd made. I'd given Michael over $500,000 in 15 years. Given him the house his family lived in. Given him time, labor, presence, love. He'd taken it all. Resented me for it, humiliated me, tried to gaslight me into thinking I was the problem. But he'd also come back, apologized, tried to make it right. That counted for something. Maybe not enough to erase the damage, but enough to rebuild. Slowly. Carefully. I pulled out my laptop, opened the will document. Didn't change it. Not yet. Trust had to be earned back over time, not given back in a moment of tears and promises. Michael would get his chance, but he'd have to prove it. Week by week, dinner by dinner, boundary by boundary. I closed the laptop, looked at Sophie's drawing again. Me and Eleanor, together, the way we'd been for 53 years, the way we'd always be in memory. I think I did okay, I said out loud, to the empty room, to Eleanor's ghost, to myself. Not perfect, but okay. The clock ticked. Eleanor's clock, marking time, moving forward. The way life does whether you're ready or not. I stood up, made myself tea, sat back down. Tomorrow I'd go to the library, volunteer, have lunch with Barbara, live my life, the one I'd built after loss, the one that existed outside of being Michael's father, Michael's ATM, Michael's handyman. And Sunday I'd make dinner again, welcome my family, maintain my boundaries, try to rebuild what had broken. It wasn't the life I'd planned, wasn't the retirement Eleanor and I had dreamed about, but it was mine. Hard won, carefully guarded, worth protecting. And that was enough. If you liked this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on the window on the right. Thank you for being with us. Q4